Last October, the unthinkable happened. Asil Asleh, the happy young Palestinian, was killed by Israeli soldiers during a protest in his hometown of Araba, near the Sea of Galilee. Asil was the last person anyone from the camp expected to die. Asil was a bright, happy young man, an Israeli Arab fluent in Hebrew, as well as Arabic and English.
Much? Okay.
Although he treasured his Palestinian heritage, he knew that if peace was going to happen, it had to start with those like him, who bridged the two identities.
He saw himself, first of all, as a Palestinian, and then being, on the other side, being an Israeli citizen, and never knowing really where he belongs.
Demonstrations like this were occurring in Arab towns all across Israel. In Asil's home village, protesters had gathered at an Israeli military checkpoint just outside town. When Asil's father, Hassan, realized his son had joined the protest, he raced here and saw everything that happened.
Asil was sitting up there beneath the last tree.
Asil was sitting under an olive tree in this grove, away from the main body of demonstrators. Some of the Palestinians were throwing stones, but eyewitnesses say Asil was not.
His face was to the demonstrators and his back to the forces, security forces.
Suddenly, the Israeli soldiers began shooting live ammunition.
And suddenly, 3 of them raised up and jumped, starting running down to the demonstrator. And when he was on the ground, they just shoot him like animal.
Asil was wearing his Seeds of Peace T-shirt when he died.
I think that till his last minute, he believed that he's not really gonna get shot.
His sister, Nadine, says Asil never, ever believed that the Israelis he'd come to trust would kill an innocent Palestinian.
And especially it was his first demonstration, and he didn't really realize when the other demonstrators, you know, run away, don't think, don't ask why, don't stop there and think for a second, just run.
I remember him smiling always. I never heard him saying, I hate somebody or something.
Asil's father, Hassan, and his mother, Jamili, are still struggling to come to terms with the death of their son, the boy who believed so passionately in peace.
Do you think his death was in vain?
I don't think so. I think his death is a lesson for the other generation in the future. And as you know, to take your freedom, you must pay blood and tears.
Maria, please join us for sweet dancing.
For the other Seeds, the death of their gentle, fun-loving friend was almost incomprehensible.
It really hit me on the center of my heart, because he was in a peaceful demonstration. He wasn't throwing stones, he wasn't doing anything. He was wearing the Seeds of Peace T-shirt.
I was devastated. I was very confused, to tell you the truth. I mean, first of all, I was devastated because a good friend of mine was killed. And then you just keep hearing, you know, things from both sides, and you don't know what to believe anymore. You know, on one side they say that you know, the Israeli soldiers or the police keeps, you know, telling that they had to do it because they kept throwing stones and they were dangerous and everything. And then you hear, you know, the Arabs or his family, and they say, you know, he was running away. He didn't even throw anything at the cop who shot him, and he didn't even have any way to defend himself. And you know, you just don't know what to believe anymore.
But at the end of the day, he was dead.
He was dead, and that was the bottom line, and I don't think that was justified.
Officially, Asil's death is being investigated by the Israeli authorities, and his father has no expectation that justice will be done. But Hassan has gone out of his way to keep contact with Asil's Jewish friends from the Seeds of Peace.
I still have my Jewish friend, and I still believe that this state must be the state of the two nations.
Asil's bedroom remains just as it was the day he left to go to the protest. His mother, Jamili, refuses to let anyone touch it.
It's regular for me to visit his bedroom every day. And every day I enter this room, I see the brutality of the Israeli authority. And always I imagine he is there, continue his job and his reading.
Soon, Sivan may be facing Palestinian protesters and facing agonizing choices of her own. In just a few days, she'll be drafted into the Israeli army to begin her compulsory military service.
People always ask me that. How could you go to a peace camp and then join the army? But the army, I don't see it as only a negative thing where, a soldier takes a gun and shoots a little boy. I see it as my duty to give my country back something that, my fathers or my brothers gave to me, and to protect my people rather to conquer.
But don't you feel uncomfortable about the fact that you may be in the army and be asked to shoot at Palestinians who were also at the Seeds of Peace camp?
I think that is the worst nightmare of any seed of peace. But I really think that we don't have any other choice rather than joining the army, because there's no one else who can do it for us. We can't import the U.S. Marines to come and protect us. We need to protect ourselves, and that's the only way.
How do you feel about the fact that Sivan is now in the army?
Tell you the truth, and to be honest with you, it scares me, and it kind of disappoints me too, because I'm so scared that when I go back home to a Arab refugee camp and be there, I would see Sivan carrying a gun against me. Or what if her government, the Israeli government, asks her to bomb a place in a Arab refugee camp or kill people there? What would she do?
Let me tell you what Bushra said. She said that she's terrified that one day when she goes home or visits a Palestinian refugee camp, that she will see you in uniform carrying a gun.
She won't.
She won't?
She won't.
She also says that it scares her to think that you might be ordered to kill people.
I won't. I personally won't. Maybe other people will, but I personally won't. I can control what I choose to do in my life, and that's what I chose. I can't say if other people won't do it.
This is the Golan Heights on Israel's northern border. Syria is over there, Lebanon over there. This rugged stretch of land has been bitterly fought over, and even today there are regular skirmishes between Israel and its neighbors. And it's here that we finally caught up with Yossi Zilberman, no longer a 16-year-old peace activist, but a young man, a soldier, with a gun in his hands.
For most of the Israeli teenagers, the army is part of their growing up, and I always knew that I'm going to be in the army, and I always knew that I'm going to do my best in the army and to make the best of it, and at the same time to stay the same Yossi that I am. And right now I'm trying to be both. I'm trying to be a good person and a good soldier.
But did you realize at the time, at that Seeds of Peace camp, that it was quite possible that you'd end up fighting or shooting at a Palestinian?
Yeah, I understood that it can happen, but I knew that even if it is going to happen, I knew that I'm not going to do something that will be against my conscience. And we're good people that went to the army. We are the same teenagers that are in Australia or in the US or in Europe. But here we have a job that we need to fulfill.
You don't have that feeling, you don't have the feeling which make you go and throw stones. You feel it in yourself that you have to go to defend your country.
For Yossi, the Seeds of Peace camp was a genuinely life-changing experience.
Yeah, it changed my opinions. I became more realistic. I became more open for ideas.
This is the hill, and we are going up.
Yossi admits that Bushra's visit to his hometown, Kiryat Gat, once her family's village, made a deep impression on him.
As I saw Bushra and her family, they have strong connection to the land, even after 60 years that they never saw that land. And it was very strange for me because I never saw that kind of connection, some kind of a great bond between a person and his land. And she almost collapsed there on the grave, and she was very thrilled to see the place, and she was so eager to touch the ground and to hear the place, to smell the place, to feel the area.
For Bushra, the visit was emotional in many ways. The desecration of the holy man's grave was a shock.
Actually, I was very disappointed and very, very sad because my grandmother used to tell me about that grave and how they used to visit it and do prayers. And then when I went there, I could find nothing from what she described. When I told her that I would be going to Iraq al-Manshiyah and would be visiting there, she got so excited, and I could see the tears in her eyes, and she was like, please, bring some soil to me.
So what's happened to that soil now?
She put it in a pillow, and now she sleeps on it.
Still to this day?
Still to this day. And that shows how she so badly believes that she should go back to her native village, and she really wishes that she's gonna return back.
Bushra is terrified that one day when she goes home or visits a Palestinian area, she will see you in uniform carrying a gun.
What can we do? That's her opinion, but I hope that in reality she still knows that I'm still the same person, and and even if I wear a uniform, I'm still Yossi, and I'm still the same guy that went with her for 3 years to see the piece and had a documentary with her.
She says it scares her to think that you might be ordered to shoot people.
It scares me to think that I'll be ordered to kill people too. I don't want to kill people, and I don't want to shoot at innocent people.
Like the other Israeli Seeds, Yossi feels confused about the death of his Palestinian friend Asil.
It felt very strange because I knew him, and it was a shock for me because after all, he was a very nice kid that I saw him first in Seeds of Peace camp at 97, and we had long talks, and we argued a lot, and he was very, very eager to show his opinions, and he was really a good kid.
Asil's death has affected everyone from the Seeds of Peace. But no one feels the camp was a waste or that the idea was wrong. Even Asil's still grief-stricken parents.
With the benefit of hindsight, do you think it achieved anything?
I think, yeah, the benefit is not rising now, but in the future.
How long?
I don't know. but I believe it's near.